honor.
And it's an honor to lift our voice and sing
To the living God.
to the living God.
No one can deny.
No one can deny
that Jesus Christ.
that Jesus Christ is the Most High. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
But most importantly, we forget that we've been forgiven. We forget that folk have forgiven us. We forget that Christ died on the cross just so we could be forgiven from our sins. Unforgiveness puts us into bondage, right? This guy, it's amazing where he goes from, right? He goes from a debtor to a creditor to a prisoner. He goes into bondage because he can't forgive just as he's been forgiven. It takes away your joy. It puts you in a place to where you are in a constant state of unhappiness. And then the final thing is, it makes it impossible for you to be around other people. It makes it hard to get along with people at work. It makes it difficult to even be enjoyed by your family at home. So how do we overcome the giant of unforgiveness? The key is right here in the same story. You've got to be the king. See, that's the point of the parable. The parable is Jesus' way of explaining a very complex thing like forgiveness to regular people like us, right? He uses the king, which represents the Father in heaven. And the things that we have to do to be able to defeat the giant of unforgiveness are all listed in the king's actions. First of all, in 26, we have to be patient. He got down on his knees and he begged to the king. He said, please be patient with me. Give me another chance. And when people come to you and they've made mistakes and they've done things to hurt you and they've done things against you, and even when they've done it more than one time, you have got to be patient. Verse 27, it says that the king had compassion, and compassion is for you to be able to understand that a person wouldn't hurt you unless they were hurt. People are not hurting you because they want to hurt you, but most of the time the hurt is coming from a very dark place within inside that person. You know, Lydia from the story earlier, in the courtroom, she couldn't even talk. But she wanted to say something. So she wrote a letter and her father read it. And the letter was her saying, I forgive him. I hold no grudge against him. I understand that nobody in their right spirit, in their right mind, would ever rape and set another person on fire. I can hold no grudge against him. She gave complete forgiveness. And then the final thing is you got to have mercy. Speaking of mercy, let's watch Lydia's story together.
Today, Lydia is still working very hard to recover.
Try this one.
And to speak.
Stimuli. Stimuli. Nice. Yeah, tried yesterday. Lydia she's rocked my world.
Dr. Jill Armour.
That's easy. I think Lydia has the ability to make a full recovery. And I think she's tenacious and perseveres enough that she may just well do that.
And so a proper introduction. Here, just 10 months after the attack that nearly took her life, is Lydia Tillman, in her own words.
People were amazed you survived it all, frankly.
Yeah. I am amazed, too.
Yeah. What has been, in the long recovery process, the most difficult thing to do?
Relearning how to speak was still difficult.
Yes.
I'm trying to find balance between my ambitions and my still healing body and brain.
Yeah. So where were you in the process of getting better when Travis went to court to plead guilty and be sentenced?
I was just out of rehab. The hardest day of my life.
Really?
To forgive him it was super difficult.
How could you do that after what he did to you?
To heal myself rather than being angry.
Because that would not help you.
Yeah.
You harbor no bitterness, no...
And rarely I get mad.
Yeah.
I believe Travis Forbes was acting out of fear and hatred. I choose love and peace over fear. And I won.
So she did. And then she said with that big infectious smile on her face that she'd brought a gift for me.
It's a bracelet. It's on.
Did I open it?
Yes. On acronym for my name. It says, live your days inspired anew.
Which of course spells Lydia. There's great sadness surrounding the story of Travis Forbes. Unending sadness for Kenya's family. For the unknown other families who, as many now suspect, may have been victimized by his past behavior. And then, from that darkest place, came the indomitable Lydia, who forgave, who won, who told us, live your days inspired anew.
In closing, I want to talk to somebody who is in a place of unforgiveness. I don't know if that unforgiveness is with a parent, with a spouse, with a coworker, but I feel it. I know it's in this room, and I know the power that it has over your life. And you've been able to master some things, and you've been able to keep some things in order. But when you least expect it, that spirit of unforgiveness pops up and it gets you every time. And it's cost you too much. It's taken away too much of your joy, too much of your happiness, too much of your love. You've cried too many tears. Somebody in this room, and I feel it, the person is not even alive anymore. And you're still harboring unforgiveness. Today is the day for you. I'm going to pass out one of these to everyone. I'm going to ask Sloan to come pass these out real quick. These are bracelets, just like the one that she gave. They have the word Lydia on it. And my challenge to each and every person in this sanctuary is that you move away from unforgiveness. Listen, if you've got any issue with anybody, listen, God didn't send a lot of people here today. But he sent the ones that needed to hear this message. Amen. And I'm speaking with a little bit of authority on this because this is the last day for each one of you that chooses that you'll ever have to suffer with that unforgiving spirit again. This is a day that you move forward, that you mend relationships with your spouse, with your husband, with your parents, with your siblings, that you're able to go to work and be happy. This is a day that you change your life. And just like the Lydia that is on your bracelet, this is a day that you begin to live your days inspired anew. To God be the glory.
And it's an honor to lift our voice and sing to the living God. No one can deny that Jesus Christ